Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. Welcome back to the third annual Super Fantasy Bros postseason award show. Let's go. One of our favorite episodes to do all season. The best episode. Fantasy season sadly coming to an end. We still get to take a look back at all of the awesome stuff that happened this season. Way back in August, we tried to predict who would win each award, including the best at every position, MVP, Rookie of the Year, and many more. With these predictions, we were trying to be a bit bolder than usual instead of predicting Kelsey as the best tight end. So we'll see how those predictions went. We'll look back at those, and we'll be handing out an honorable mention for each of us for every award. Along with the overall winner, we will be debating for some, or the guy we agreed upon for some. So let's discuss. Let's get into it. Twitch chat or whoever's here, you can also jump in the conversation. Let us know who you think deserves the award once we start debating. A ton of awards to get to, so let's get right into it.
Hold on. Some of these are so bad.
The predictions?
Yeah. So bad.
They are.
Yeah, there's some bad ones. I mean, we were trying to be bold. So sometimes bold is bad. I mean, we all could have said Kelsey and Mahomes are going to be quarterback and tight end, but let's get into it. Let's start with the best defense, special teams, ease our way into it. T-Gods, start us off. Who did you predict and who is your honorable mention?
I predicted the Colts. One of the worst teams this year somehow. They shouldn't have been. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Colts, they finished as the defense 16, and my honorable mention, apparently the team I love, kind of is why I said it, is the Cowboys.
Love the star.
You're going to tell me their defense didn't pop off this year, though.
Add it to his resume.
Add it
to the list.
Whatever. They're one of, I'm pretty sure, two teams to average more than 10 points a game. So, if you're putting them in and they're gaining you points like that.
It's like an extra flex.
Extra flex.
Yeah, they were solid. Number 2 defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were nice. Good honorable mention. Matt, what do you got?
All right. My prediction way back in August was the 49ers defense. And since I'm such a genius, they finished number 4 this year. So it's only right there. Also, my honorable mention. I mean, this defense has been unreal all season. Even when both starting quarterbacks went out, this defense and the offensive weapons, but have just been good enough to win this team games. I don't get it. This team is scary, and mostly in part because of the defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely would agree there. Q, who was your prediction? Who was your honorable mention for defense of the year?
Prediction was the Chargers. They finished 19th defense. They were just filled with injuries. They had J.C. Jackson out for the season, and
Bosa missed a few.
But they didn't look too good. My honorable mention, though, is the Bills. They finished, I think, 6th, defense 6, 9 points per game. Probably would have been better, but they lost Von Miller for the season, and Jordan Poyer was in and out for weeks. So still a pretty good defense.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely would agree there. Bills defense was solid. My prediction was the Philadelphia Eagles. They did finish number 3. This is the second year in a row where I have targeted a defense that plays poor/turnover-prone quarterbacks. The Eagles had a ton of bad quarterbacks on their schedule. Worked out pretty well. Finished number 3. But the overall winner for best defense of the year has to be the Patriots defense again. Year after year, I don't know how they do it. They just show up and they put up points. They create turnovers. They wreak havoc. It's just Bill Belichick special at this point. Patriots defense finished number 1 again, had 11-plus points in the 4 of their last matchups. If you carried them through the playoffs, they helped you out a ton. Patriots defense, congrats. Best defense of the year. Let's move on. Not spending too much time on defense. Probably not going to spend too much time on this one either. Best kicker. We have to include it. Kickers are people too. T-Gods, who was your prediction and honorable mention?
My prediction, Daniel Carlson. But my fear was, the Raiders got better. They're going to score more touchdowns, less field goals. Derek Carr still sucks.
Oh,
It was
he
wrong.
sucks.
So my honorable mention, I'm sticking with him. Daniel Carlson, kicker number 2 on the season. 9.6 points a game. Give me 9 points from 9.6 from a flex. Like, I'll take that. That's my kicker.
It's not bad. Rock solid season for Daniel Carlson again. Matt, who'd you got?
All right. I predicted Justin Tucker would be the best kicker this year because why not? He is the greatest kicker of all time. And he proved that again this year, finishing kicker number 3. That is why he's my honorable mention. He is just automatic. Even if it's 50, 60 plus, you're not really worried when Justin Tucker's running out there to kick the field goal because it's what he does. He's the best to ever do it.
Yeah, Justin Tucker, obviously safe pick, safe top 3 finish again.
Don't belittle my pick.
Come on, man. Predicting Justin Tucker to be the best kicker. It's fine. It's whatever. I'll eat my dust here, though. I predicted Brandon McManus. This man finished kicker number 17. Second year in a row, I tried to predict him to be good. I was expecting the Broncos' offense to be a lot better. Obviously, that did not turn out well. They were the worst offense in football. So that hurt Brandon McManus a ton. Number 17 is somehow still impressive, despite how bad that offense was. My honorable mention, Jason Myers of the Seahawks. He finished number 4. Matt usually predicts him every year. Decided to go against him, and he finally decided to show up. Quietly finished number 4. He was only owned in 17% of dynasty leagues and 18% of redraft leagues. This man was slept on all year long. 8 games of 10-plus points, only 2 games below 6 points. He was so consistent. Got you what you needed from your kicker every single week. Jason Myers, shout out to you. Q, who was your prediction, honorable mention, and let us know who won the award of Kicker of the Year.
So my original choice was Evan McPherson. He stunk this year. Kicker 19. I don't know how that happens on such an elite offense. He had a lot of misses later on in the season. But my honorable mention is Graham Gano. Had many, I think 5+ 10-point games. Some of them were like 14+ on an offense we knew wouldn't be able to finish in the red zone. So he finished kicker 6. This team couldn't score touchdowns, and he was pretty elite. But when he stunk, he stunk. But you basically, if you picked him up, you got him in his high.
Yeah. Overall winner, Q. Who wins the award?
Sorry. Overall winner. I have COVID. This is my flu game episode number 2. Overall winner is Cowboys kicker Brett Maher, who finished kicker number 1.
Yep.
I did not really do any. This very unprepared for this segment, but towards the end of the season, he was dropping at least like 12 points a game on an offense that could finish, but could also kick the ball. He kicked the ball very far, which he was doing. So, Brett Maher, K1.
K1. Great season, Brett. Congrats. Enjoy your award. Let's move on to the best tight end. T-Gods, start us off. Can't wait for this honorable mention.
I feel like you guys know what's coming. So I predicted Dallas Goedert being the best tight end. As you guys know,
that was going pretty well until he got hurt.
It was going very well, but he did miss 5 games. So whatever, it happens. Honorable mention. Who do you want me to talk about? Seriously, how many tight ends are there to talk about? They should not be a part. You shouldn't have to have a tight end, bro. I don't care. Hold on. Okay, so the tight end 1 scored over 300 fantasy points. Tight end 12 had 130.
Nice.
Like that's a huge. That's almost like not like almost 3 times, but it's like 2.5 times. Like that's
Stinky.
Absurd.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about anyone. If you want me to give a name, I'll give Tyler Higbee. That's just because I had him and he was decent. Tight end 7. There you go.
Except for when you needed him the most.
He won me the league. Yay, Tyler Higbee.
Great. Great take. You guys agree. Tight ends have been bad. Matt, who do you got?
My prediction was a lost cause early on in the year. That is Kyle Pitts. I am done trying to believe in this man. He sucks. Maybe he got hurt So he was getting a little bit better, not by much. Maybe having Desmond Ritter under center next year could help him because that offense did look much better with him at quarterback. So there is still hope. But for this year, my honorable mention goes to Pat Fryermuth, especially for a position where it's absolutely abysmal and you're just picking scraps off the waiver wire most weeks. He's been solid all year long. So you can't ask for much more than that.
Lil Kev agrees.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Knows.
Muth had a solid season. Q, you're up. What do we got?
My original pick was Zach Ertz. He finished tight end 18. He was on fire after 10
So
games.
good.
He scored no less than like 10 points.
He was
in
like
all
tight
but
end
one.
4.
Yeah, insane. The only good thing about that Cardinals team. But my
Excuse me.
Oh, well, Diop was out too.
All right.
He came back.
My honorable mention, though, is TJ Hawkinson. What looked like another lost cause season besides one good week in Detroit when he was traded to the Vikings. He was tight end 2 from then, which was week 8 until now. So he's been insane. Tight end 3 on the season. Maybe this is his new home because he's been pretty mid. He was mid last year, I think, and mid up until this point. So Hawk.
Yeah. Hawk was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Kev mad about the Cardinals comment, Q. He said, is James Conner dead or something?
Oh, well, he was dead at one point or injured.
Until Kyler was gone, then James Conner was back. All right. My prediction was Dalton Schultz. If he didn't miss games, maybe he would have snuck back in the top 5, but finished tight end 9, missed 3 games. Not the greatest season, a bit up and down. Obviously, Cooper Rush hurt a little bit early in the season as well. But my honorable mention has to be Evan Engram. This man somehow managed to finish as tight end 5. He was pretty mid early on in the season. He wasn't great. He was on a lot of waiver wires, but he ended up finishing with 8 games of 10-plus points, including 4 of his last 5 games down the stretch. Carried teams to the finals. Diamond in the rough, could be a mid-round tight end target next season. Congrats to him for my honorable mention, but overall winner, come on, we don't got to overthink this one. Tight end of the year, it's Travis Kelce every single year, most year in and year out, aside from last year. This man is the king of consistency. So solid year every single year. Another 100 reception season, another 1,000-yard season, another 10 touchdown season. Like, he just continues to put up monstrous numbers. Congrats, Travis Kelce. You're the best tight end in the world, and it's not close.
Q was preying on his downfall.
See,
He was.
I agree.
He was right. He did fall to second for the first time ever.
I don't think I made that prediction for this year, but
Yeah, it was
next
last year,
year
the year before.
I'll draft him first round and then he'll stink. So
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
won't do it.
He might.
And then I'll be great. So good luck to everybody else.
All right. Best wide receiver. Now we're getting some better awards here. T-Gods, start us off. What do we got?
I predicted yet again another Cowboys CD.
Surprise,
Hey,
surprise.
He was
Ah,
good.
ha, ha, ha. I have his jersey in my closet.
What?
I don't. I would, Matt, come on, bro. Stop.
Coming
with
over
that
to find
face.
out right
Autographed by
now.
his family.
He did finish wide receiver 6, so I was pretty close. But my honorable mention is a man that everyone hated, everyone doubted, Mr. Inconsistent, Tyler Lockett.
Ooh.
The wide receiver 12 on the season, technically a wide receiver 1, technically. Rock solid all year. Never had to question if you should start him or not.
And he missed a game.
And he did miss a game. He still okay. So all these players played 16 games, but Lockett only played 15. He finished over DK. He finished over Christian Kirk, who was like going berserk, and someone who everyone always thinks is going to do good, Terry McLaurin, who never really does great. He did good.
He was solid.
He was solid, but Terry's no Lockett.
Yeah. Lockett was rock solid. I like it a lot. All right, Q, what do we got?
Wrong receiver. So in the beginning of the season, I thought it would be Mike Evans. If it was Mike Evans of last week, I would be correct. But
Yeah,
he was not.
was
He
not.
finished wide receiver 11 on the season. Honorable mention is AJ Brown. I think there was some doubt coming in this year because we didn't see a great Jalen Hurts accuracy wise, and he's run first. But he showed out for sure since week 1. In real life or records, he's wide receiver 5 on the season. Should be drafted as such next year. Many multiple touchdown games and big fantasy score games. So he's elite, no question. Him or the guy on the other side of the offensive line.
AJ Brown, elite.
Timothy.
My prediction starting season was a bit bold. Michael Pittman.
Idiot.
I was excited for the Colts. Obviously, it did not work out. He did finish wide receiver number 20. Not bad, but honestly, a downgrade from the prior season. He did miss a game, but all in all, the Colts season was a nightmare to say the least. So I'll give him half a pass, I guess. But my honorable mention has to be Jalen Waddle. I drafted this man as my second wide receiver behind DJ Moore. Haha, funny, haha. In my main league, ended up being the most reliable wide receiver I had in a couple of leagues where I drafted him. A bit inconsistent here and there, but carousel at quarterback being a second option, he still showed that he is an elite wide receiver, and I think he deserves to be an honorable mention for wide receiver of the year. This man was so good. Also, his teammate was pretty good too. So, Dolphins wide receiver as a whole.
They're all right.
Yeah, just all right. Matt, you're up.
All right, buddy. Sean is going to pity this pick once again, but my pick for best receiver to begin the year was Stephon Diggs.
Spicy.
He finished number 4. Him and Josh Allen are one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league. Their chemistry is unreal. We saw Diggs go off for huge games. Josh Allen's always looking for him, especially in the critical moments of a game. He's a target machine. Everybody thought Gabe Davis was going to come onto the scene, take away all these targets, but that's Stephon Diggs' team. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yep.
First honorable mention for me, my boy Cooper Kupp. If he didn't get hurt when he did have a legitimate chance of finishing wide receiver 1. But honorable mention number 2, Devontae Smith. My fucking boy, currently wide receiver 9 on the season. Well, to finish the season. After that dud week 1, he said, fuck that, I'm turning up. The last, I believe, 5 weeks of the season had no less than 17.4 points and had 20 plus in 3 of them. So, I mean, if you had Smitty in the playoffs, there is a good chance that he helped you win your championship. So,
fully I made it.
I give credit where credit is due. And the overall winner, surprise, surprise, probably the best in the league, maybe the number 1 overall draft pick next year, Justin Jefferson.
Let's debate.
You want to debate?
Yeah. You know who I think should win the award for something is that piece of your mic that you flicked somehow survived like the whole season. Best piece of metal
that could be
in the
most
league.
talked about. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, he's insane. He
finished number 1.
He finished number 1, but is he still on pace to break Randy Moss's records?
No, because
because he had a fucking so he got you to the chip. Don't be mad at him. Blame the rest of your team.
I'd be pretty mad.
He needs
he was a part of it.
He needs like 200 yards, which is not impossible for him, but
Not impossible.
probably not happening.
But yeah, Justin Jefferson, he's unreal. Wide receiver 1. Take him next year, first overall.
Scoop him up. He's nice. All right. Best running back. Matt, we're sticking with you. Who was
Best
Go ahead.
running back? My guess was DeAndre Swift, one of the worst headaches I had to deal with in my entire fantasy career.
Yeah,
he was hurt. His backup was just munching on touchdowns all year. So it didn't go as planned, but he still finished running back 24, missing 3 games. So low end running back 2. But my honorable mention has to be the man that let me down the biggest last year, Saquon Barkley. Came back this year, did his thing, literally carried that Giants offense to any win that they possibly could have. So he just put the team on his back. Daniel Jones is not him. No, they didn't have wide receiver help. Saquon Barkley is that guy. He is the workhorse, and it was nice to see him get back to his old form.
Yeah, Saquon was solid. Q, you're up.
All right. So my before season prediction was Saquon Barkley finished running back 5, but my honorable mention is Christian McCaffrey. I think a week or 2 before the draft, I moved him up above Eckler as my second running back taken after JT. After weeks with the Panthers, he had many weeks with the Panthers that didn't seem too great. It was just mid. Didn't seem like a second overall running back to be taken. But then he got traded to San Francisco. I thought that was another bad spot for him to be in. because of their running back carousel, happened to be an even better position for him to be in. And he's been the RB1 since joining the 49ers. So he's elite. He may be in the conversation again next year for first overall taken. Probably not, but at least maybe second overall. But yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he is back for sure. Can't believe CMC played every game.
Good for him.
Insane.
Even at
Happy
the
he's
week
back.
of being traded, he played that game.
Of course, it's the year that K-Harp gets him.
Yeah, that makes
it is an adder.
Of course.
Perfect sense. My prediction beginning the season was Javonte Williams. That worked out very well. Just kidding. RB77. He was knocked out for the season in week 4. Tough break. He wasn't that great when he was healthy. The Broncos team was a disaster, though. So honestly, he kind of dodged a bullet there playing this season for the Broncos because they were bad. Honorable mention, Derrick Henry, someone I tend to avoid drafting just because I stick to more pass catching running backs. We were unsure what we would see this season with D-Hen coming off a major injury. He showed us he is still D-Hen no matter what. Dominated game after game, finished as a top 5 running back again for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Missing championship week did sting a bit, but he was incredible all season long. Deserves to be an honorable mention for running back of the year. T-Gods, who was your honorable mention, and who was your overall winner and your prediction?
My prediction was Aaron Jones. I really thought he was going to get a whole bunch of passing work and stuff there. I thought it was going to be the whole Aaron Jones show. Didn't really happen. He finished RB8, so it wasn't bad, but not what I was thinking was going to happen. But my honorable mention is my guy that everybody hated on. Everybody said I reached on him in the 3rd round. Josh Jacobs went absolutely crazy this year. He's currently the RB3. He averages 20.1 points per game. He had a couple little injuries, but he stayed healthy all year. 323 attempts for 1,608 yards, 12 touchdowns. Also had 51 receptions, which isn't even his highest ever, but 51 receptions for 395 yards. But he has still not got a receiving touchdown yet. It'll happen. It'll happen one of these days.
He's got 1 week.
He's got 1 week left. And also, I'm just gonna add this little thing. I checked what everyone put for the the game, the performance of the year or whatever. No one put Josh Jacobs, so I'll just add this one in. Week 12 in Seattle, 33 rushes, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions, 74 yards.
Crazy game.
That was like a 50-something point game.
48.3.
And on top of all that, he only lost 1 fumble all year.
Impressive.
Impressive. Overall winner, as everyone would think, Eckler, obviously. He's just better than everyone else. He's so good. I don't know. He's so good. He could literally do it all.
If the Chargers have the same team next year, there's nothing changing my mind that he's the first running back for me taken because Justin Herbert just dumps him the ball. It doesn't matter if their run game is bad because it's been bad, but he just makes up for it, catching 50 passes for 2 yards, but it doesn't matter.
I think heading into last year, T-Gods one of us predicted Eckler to have 100 catches, and he didn't get there last year, but he did this year. He waited a year. We were a year early, but yeah, Eckler, bonkers. Still scored 18 touchdowns. Insane. Best running back for sure. All right. Best quarterback before we get into some of the other awards. Start us off, T-Gods. Who we got?
I'm not wearing his jersey, but I'm wearing same team's jersey. Joe Burrow. That's who I thought was going to be the best. He is currently quarterback 3, but I'm sticking with him as my honorable mention. So he is one of 5 quarterbacks to average 20-plus points per game. He had well over 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 274 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns.
Nice.
So, what is
that
that?
Boy, nice.
39 touchdowns on the season. Still, well, it should have been more. I mean, we all know. Obviously, he didn't play the other night, but
Yep.
So he should still have 2 more games to play on top of all those stats. I don't know. He's one of the only elite quarterbacks that I don't know. Quarterbacks are really bad this year, but Joe Burrow most certainly was not bad.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent all year long. Wide receivers were so solid for him. Matt, who do you got for us?
All right. My prediction for the best quarterback was Lamar Jackson. Looked so good through the first 5 weeks. We even said it on a few episodes. It looked like Lamar was back at his MVP caliber of play, but that shortly ended. He kind of fell off. This Ravens offense was god awful to watch. Everybody was struggling, and then Lamar got hurt, which was just the icing on the cake. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully Lamar comes back next year. Hopefully they get his ass some help and pay the man because he is one of the top quarterbacks.
He is Deshaun Jackson. What kind of help? What other help does he need?
Yeah, come on.
All right, come on. His knees are made of dust.
And Sammy Watkins.
Oh, it's like a retirement home. But honorable mention, Josh Allen. Come on now. Finished QB2 on the season. One of the highest scoring offenses in the league. One of the best offenses. Josh Allen does it. When he runs the ball, it doesn't seem like anybody can take this man down one-on-one. He just runs through people, jumps over people. It doesn't matter. And obviously he has arguably the strongest arm in the league. Stephon Diggs helps. Gabe Davis here and there. Dawson Knox even. But no matter what, Josh Allen finds a way to produce.
Yep, Josh Allen, rock solid. Q, I will go before you just because you have to read the winner too. So my prediction was, shocker, Kyler Murray. This man finished number 18. He did miss 6 games. He was QB6 through 9 weeks before he got hurt. So it's not like he was terrible. He was definitely not on pace to be number 1, though.
Wasn't Kirk Cousins.
He was well behind the other guys. He was way ahead of Kirk Cousins at that time and still finished with more points per game than Kirk Cousins, by the way.
Who cares?
You do, because you said it would be
better. Who finished higher overall?
Because he was injured. That's unfair.
Get a good lead.
That's like saying, congrats, Justin Jefferson, you finished higher than Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's hurt. Come on now. Honorable mention, though, has to be my boy, Geno Smith. Geno Smith came out of the woodwork. Everyone thought of the Seahawks as an afterthought this year, and Geno was consistent all year long. A little bit up and down here and there, but for the most part, Geno Smith held you down at quarterback. If you were someone that drafted Russell Wilson or drafted another quarterback, you're probably scrambling on waivers to find somebody because there were some bad ones this year. Geno was your guy that you found early in the season, were able to rely upon throughout the season. This man finished quarterback number 6. Geno Smith, a top 6 fantasy quarterback, makes 0 sense. Got to shout him out for sure. Q, let us know what you got and who your overall winner is.
Yeah, I guess I had 2 predictions at the beginning of the season. Outside of Justin Herbert, who finished quarterback 12. But that's not his fault. It's going to be – I was also Jalen Hurts. He finished QB4, missing 2 games. Might play this week. Honorable mention is Carson Wentz. I'm just kidding. It's still Jalen Hurts. Up until week 15, going into week 16, he was still QB1. Probably would have finished QB1 if he played those 2 games. He's made most of his juicy matchups all season. The MVP. Quarterback 1. I would take him over Mahomes next year.
Ooh, okay.
His team's getting better. The Chiefs, I can't really talk about the Chiefs bad either, but I get more out of Jalen Hurts. He was literally quarterback 1, but besides the last 2 weeks.
Man, he is the overall winner, though. Patty Mahomes, baby.
Well, actually, I read this, so I can say whoever I want. The overall winner, Patrick Mahomes. It is up for debate.
Not up for debate. You finished number 1. Mahomes was so solid.
That's like saying Justin Jefferson finished over Cooper Kupp because.
It is.
You're right
there. It is.
Yeah, you kind of got me there. But, I mean.
Taste that medicine.
Injuries are injuries. They happen. Got to give it to the guy that stayed healthy. Mahomes. I'm still not giving Kirk props over Kyler.
Okay. Who dropped a 50 bomb this season? I bet Kyler's never dropped 50.
Kyler could never.
Has he ever dropped 50?
Kirk didn't drop 50.
Drop 50 in CBS. That's where it counts.
Yeah. That's a real man's league.
High-ass, bonus-ass league. Get out of my face. Curly said, how about some Cooper Rush love? He is the reason Cowboys are in the playoffs.
He's
the
not getting
fantasy award show.
And
so Cooper Rush, not really good for fantasy, but sure. I guess you can have a sprinkle of love. All right, do more of the awards. Let's do today's sponsor real quick. Underdog Fantasy, the easiest way to play fantasy football. You can get started now with their playoff gauntlet for the NFL playoffs. $1 million up for grabs and prizes. Check it out. When you sign up, use our promo code SUPERFB. 100% deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $100, you get another $100 matched free. Again, our promo code is SUPERFB, SUPERFB. And you can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or sign up online at underdogfantasy.com. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Let's do the best value pick. So we did some predictions for this one, pretty much guys that were being drafted out a little bit later and that they would finish top 12. T-Gods, start us off with who you thought would be your best value pick, your honorable mention.
So before the season started, I thought it was going to be Amon-Ra. And it still was. He was drafted as wide receiver 21, and he finished as wide receiver 7. And for my honorable mention, I probably could have found someone with some like crazier numbers, but I kind of wanted to just like laugh back at everybody because when I reached on Josh Jacobs in the 3rd round, I was hearing lots of laughing going on. But now everybody looks a little bit silly.
Yep.
So he was being drafted at RB 23 under AJ Dillon, Cam Akers, Elijah Mitchell, ETN. So yeah, and now he is RB. What did we say it was? Too many numbers going around.
Three.
RB3. Yeah. So, suck it, everybody, idiots.
Like it. I like it a lot.
Too harsh. Sorry.
How rude.
Big respect. Good Josh Jacobs call there, T-Gods. You were hyping him up all off season.
I was.
Matt, who was your prediction and your honorable mention?
I don't even know why I predicted this guy. Fucking Chase Edmonds. I don't know.
On this team anymore?
I don't know, but I don't know what made me think that was a good idea. He finished RB 58, missed 5 weeks, but
From the Broncos.
he's not good. Don't draft him next year, please. Honorable mention, though, goes to my boy, Ramondre Stevenson. Held me down basically all year. He was a little shaky in the beginning of the year, but he stepped it up, finished RB9. I got him middle of the 7th round. I'm not sure what his ADP was before the draft, but, I mean, getting your RB1 in the 7th round, it's a good feeling. So, shouts out to him. He did his thing. And he ended that discussion of Damian Harris or Ramondre. I was a Damian Harris lover, but go Ramondre.
All right, Q, who we got?
Talking about stinky. Before the season started, I said that Michael Thomas would be the best value pick. And he got us in the first half or the first 3 games.
First one game.
Quarter. I think he played 3 good games.
He did play
2.
3, but he wasn't like elite.
He injured week 3, and I just played with our feelings for the rest of the season. But my honorable mention is Justin Fields. His ADP was quarterback 17, finished quarterback 5. He put my foot in my mouth because I thought he was the worst quarterback in the league, and he's more of a running back. But in fantasy, he's a quarterback by law. So
By law.
he had many boom games, and it seems like the Bears know how to use him. So going into next season, I would also rank him as a top 10 quarterback, which is disgusting. But maybe they'll get a better wide receiver than Darnell Mooney or Chase Claypool.
I'm scooping Justin Fields next year. Scooping
Cole Kmet.
Have him.
That's disgusting.
I'll take Kmet too. My prediction, I've been pretty consistent at predicting the best value pick, just grabbing a wide receiver. I did predict Cooks in 2020. He finished 16th. Predicted Pittman in 2021. He finished 17th. This year, I picked, they were bold at the time, bud. They're being outside the top 30.
Yeah, bud.
Anyways, Christian Kirk was my prediction this year. His ADP was wide receiver 41. This man finished wide receiver 14. So I'm using him as my honorable mention. Christian Kirk was definitely slept on throughout the offseason. We weren't sure if he was even going to be the number 1 wide receiver there, if he was going to be competing for more targets, whatever. Christian Kirk showed that he can be a number 1 wide receiver on a team. He put up big numbers all season. And if you scooped him there, you found a rock solid wide receiver 2 all season long in like the 10th round. It was free if you scooped Christian Kirk. rock solid. So for the overall winner, we have to decide together here. There's a ton of good options. We got Trevor Lawrence. He was being drafted as QB 18, finished QB 7. We could even use some of these honorable mentions we made because at this point, those guys are also pretty competitive here. But Tony Pollard was being drafted as the 34th running back, finished as RB 7.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Devontae Smith, wide receiver 37, finished wide receiver 9. Lockett, same boat there, wide receiver 39, finished wide receiver 12. And Evan Engram was being drafted as tight end 20, finished as tight end 5. What do we think? Who do you guys think deserves the overall winner award for best value pick? If you're in the chat, feel free to drop.
I need to be swayed away from Evan Engram because I think for me, he wins it just because how terrible he's been for as long as we've known him in the league. And now he's just a top 5 tight end.
Honestly, I can't really argue with that, especially for how bad the position is coming into the year, being drafted as the 20th tight end and then just absolutely turning on the Jets and finishing tight end 5. That's ridiculous.
The 20th tight end might as well have been the 10th tight end. What's the difference?
Listen, if you had Evan Engram, I'm sure you'd be on board.
He was kind of mid for some of these games. He did finish tight end 5, but tight ends are just bad.
Where's Taysom Hill in this pool?
Tight end 5 isn't even an accomplishment.
Tight end 2.
Tony Pollard would be the guy I would choose just because he was still considered the backup. People were drafting him a bit higher than usual, but at the end of the day, RB34 finishing as a top 7 running back is pretty impressive to me, especially while competing for carries with Zeke and everything that was going on there. So I would say it would be Tony Pollard for me, but it's up to you guys as well.
I easily would go Josh Jacobs, obviously. But my number 2 would have been Pollard. So
I do like Pollard just because he's a backup and finishes
exactly,
RB7.
And he's still RB7, bro.
Over the starter. I guess we'll go Pollard then.
Because tight ends suck. T-Gods is right.
It's Josh Jacobs in my heart, but Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. Curly agrees. T-God says Josh Jacobs. Lil Kev says Josh Jacobs as well. It's close between those two. We'll give it to Tony Pollard this year. He was drafted later, so we'll give him the better value there. 11 picks later, finished a few spots lower, 7 compared to 3. Either way, Tony Pollard. Shout out Tony Pollard. Best value pick. Now let's move on to fantasy performance of the year. Starting off with T-Gods. What do we got?
So I said that week 1, CMC would rush for 150 yards. You get 10 receptions for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. This man came out and dropped 33 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 4 receptions for 24 yards. I was way off.
That's not a bad day.
I know. It was pretty bad, though.
It ain't no 150.
14 touches.
And my honorable mention could have been Josh Jacobs with that crazy game, but I'm going to go with someone I'm not even really a big fan.
I love
Justin Fields. Okay, so he's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
so he's
running back.
He's very good at running.
He's an elite runner.
Elite runner, but bottom 5 throwing the ball.
Taysom Hill might be better than him.
Taysom Hill may be better at throwing the ball.
I would argue.
He cooked us. He cooked us.
Taysom Hill stinks.
But Justin Fields, week 9 versus Miami, 123 passing yards, which isn't a lot, but he had 3 passing touchdowns and 178 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. That was 50.7 fantasy points. And I bet he was on your bench or on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He went bonkers.
Because I'm pretty sure that's the first game that he popped off.
It was one of them. He was leaning up to it. So he might have been owned at that point. Some people might have been starting him, but it probably wasn't many.
Definitely not many.
Justin Fields, great game for sure. One of the best of the season. Matt, what do we got?
All right.
Unfortunate prediction, man.
Unfortunate. I guess that last week Josh Allen would throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns against the Bengals. Unfortunately, we all know what happened. That game got postponed. Who knows when it's going to resume. But my honorable mention has to go to my boy, Kirk fucking Cousins. Week 15, one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history.
The greatest.
40.4 points, 460 yards, 4 touchdowns. That man put the team on his back. Thank you as well, Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne that week. But, yeah, my boy That's my boy Kirk. Of course, I had to throw him in here. Got to give him some love.
Hey, deserves a shout out for that one. That was crazy.
Derek-
I was talking so much shit
shut
in the
your
first half.
Derek Carr could never.
Never.
Yeah. All right, Q, what do we got?
So my prediction week 1 was that Jalen Hurts would have 6 total touchdowns rushing and passing against the Lions. He actually only had 1 and 24 fantasy points. My honorable mention, though, is going to be last week's performance by Mike Evans. I think the significance of when it happened makes it the fantasy performance of the year in the chip, which I will add real quick. Last year, I said it was Jonathan Taylor's 5 touchdowns. I got beat by Jamar Chase's chip performance because of when he did it. But 5 touchdowns is more impressive. But I'm going to use that argument here. If you got to the chip with Mike Evans' poor average performance all season, you most likely won it with his 40 whatever points in the chip. So,
Unfortunately, you weren't getting to the chip if you had Mike Evans.
Literally, that's what happened to me.
He's still
Happened to
over
me too.
Chris Godwin.
Multiple
I had
leagues.
Mike
Chris
Evans
Godwin
and
could
Brady.
never.
He could.
Godwin, nice. Don't hate on my boy.
But he's not better than Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is
Who
a
said he
better wide
was?
receiver.
Matt said he was?
Yeah.
Matt, you're
Putting
tripping.
words
Matt
in my
Evans.
mouth.
Matt
You're
Evans.
both
All
tripping.
season.
No, Godwin better for fantasy,
I was
No,
literally
wow.
just gassing Godwin. I never once disrespected Mike.
at least this year anyways. All right. My prediction was Deontay Johnson was going to have a game of 18 plus receptions
You're
for
an
over
idiot.
100 yards and at least a touchdown. He would have been the first player ever to have 18 plus catches in a game since Jason Witten in 2012. He actually had 10 in one game and was terrible most of the year. Unfortunate. My honorable mention will be TJ Hawkinson twice. In week 14, this man had 8 catches, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then in week 16, again on a separate team, 13 catches, 109 yards, and another 2 touchdowns. 39 points in the first one there, 35 in the second one. For a tight end, this might have won you that week for sure, depending on who you're playing. TJ Hawkinson, great season with those 2 big games. It's what you're looking for in a tight end because they are boom or bust. You want those big booms.
I slept on him.
The overall winner, though, Curly did predict it in the chat. Joe Mixon, 55.1 points, my boy. 22 carries, 153 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and then added 4 receptions for 58 yards and another touchdown, 5 touchdown game, the highest scoring fantasy performance of the entire season. Joe Mixon went off. Shout out to that.
Take that game away, though, and he's like worse than Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, you can't take away touchdowns, though. So
I'm just saying, he's mid. He just got every dog has its day.
He is so mid.
Joe Mixon, elite.
Mixon.
Don't hate.
Joe
He's
Mixon.
so mid.
I'd rather have
Don't hate.
Keyshawn Nixon
Top 12
than
running
Joe
back,
Mixon.
and he was out 3 games.
And it was out for games.
And he's
Samaje is better than
I'll hate
him, and
it.
I wish
Booby
Vince was
clears.
here because he would fight that with me.
You can fight whoever. Joe
bring
Mixon
Gio back.
We'll fight
still
you.
had the fantasy performance of
Chris
the
Evans.
year.
Booby clears.
Booby clears.
Mixon had more fantasy points and missed 2.5 games. Please stop.
Okay.
Most-
well,
Most improved player. This one's predictions are pretty funny. I'm excited for this one. T-Gods, start us off. Who was your prediction? Who's your honorable mention?
So I predicted Kyle Pitts. He went from the tight end 6 to the tight end 31. He did get injured, but even if he did get injured, I mean, he was going nowhere
he
fast
could have been
anyway.
close to tight end 10, though, wasn't he? He had to have been because
It was probably like 14 or something.
I can check.
there's
I'll
probably
check
like
after.
a difference of like 5 points.
Yeah, it wouldn't even matter. They all suck anyway. Whatever. I'm not getting back into that. But my most improved player is definitely Geno Smith.
He was
So
tight
before
end
this year,
18.
he's never thrown for more than 13 touchdowns in a season. He had 29 this year, and he threw over 2,600 yards once in his career. And this year he had 4,069 with a game to go. So he went from being so bad to one of the best in the
Relevant.
league somehow. And he's old.
Yeah. Geno Smith, unbelievable season. Definitely one that was for the record books. Loved him this year. Matt, what do we got?
Why do you always say my name so aggressive?
Bias. Matty
All right.
what do we got?
I got Saquon Barkley. Last year, he fucked me over big time. This year, finished RB5. That is why he's also my honorable mention. Because, I mean, he came out and did his thing this year. When Saquon is healthy, he is easily a top 5 running back in this league. I couldn't name 5 players, running backs better than him. He does everything, runs, catches. Like I said earlier, that offense literally runs through him. So, fuck is so funny.
I was going to say, I don't even know. I'm not even going to say it.
Say it.
Just go. Just go.
That's all I
in my
got.
head are giving me jokes.
All right,
That's
Q,
all
you're
I
up
got.
then.
Well, you keep laughing at this. My honor. Before the season started, my most improved player was Allen Robinson. He bamboozled all of fantasy football. He went from wide receiver 81 to 82.
One slot worse.
I guess he went one forward. I could have used it still.
Oh shit!
But
Did
my
get knocked out.
honorable mention is Vanilla Vic, Danny Jones. I hope he sucks dick this week though, or maybe he doesn't play at all. But he only threw like 14 touchdowns this season. He did rush a lot, which is why he's Vanilla Vic. Last week he had 40 points. I don't know how he does it because he has terrible receivers, Merrill Hodge and Kenny Galladay. I guess Danny Bellinger with one
Stop
eye.
saying Merrill Hodge. I'm going to start calling that guy Merrill Hodge.
Either way, Vanilla Vic, QB 8 on the season after being outside the top 20 the last 2 years, probably as long as he's been in the NFL. I don't know if I'd ever trust starting him, but he's good apparently.
He is pretty good apparently. My most improved player prediction was Juju Smith-Schuster. He was wide receiver 133 last year. Obviously only played 5 games. He is currently wide receiver 27, finished at wide receiver 27. So he will be my honorable mention. Juju, obviously a nice bounce back year. Maybe expected more than wide receiver 27. I guess that's kind of where he was being drafted in terms of ADP. But in general, started off a little bit slow, picked it up a ton, and then kind of tapered off a bit here at the end. Chiefs kind of an up and down season all around in terms of who was getting the ball aside from Kelsey. But in the end, Juju had a pretty solid season. I'll keep him as my honorable mention, an improved season, and hope to see him improve upon it more next year. So let's debate who's the overall winner of most improved player. We've got some good options. We also got Jalen Hurts.
I like Curly's option.
QB9 to QB3.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. I think he was QB 24, jumped up to QB 10. We also got Josh Jacobs, who we could give it to as well. Ramondre Stevenson improved a lot. Evan Engram, who we mentioned earlier as well. What are we thinking?
If Josh Jacobs doesn't leave here with at least one award, I'm going to be pissed off.
I was thinking Josh Jacobs is a pretty solid one because he was finishing as like a low-end RB1 most seasons, maybe high-end RB2, and then jumping to RB3. He's picked it up a ton.
He did. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
close,
I can't really go wrong with any of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
did like
can't.
Goff a lot too. Like,
Yeah, Goff.
but we've
I
seen
think
him like
Goff
elite
would have-
though.
Yeah, but he's improved from what what we saw last year. You expected him to be dog water this year.
We should go with the Gino then, just because he came out of nowhere.
Ramondre.
Go get it next year.
I could give Gino.
I think my number one would
I'm
probably
going
be Gino.
Goff.
Gino.
I'm voting Gino.
Who?
Goff.
Big time.
You said Gino?
Yep.
Sorry, Matt. You've been overruled. Curly was on your
Whatever.
on your
You're
side.
on an island. Jared
But-
Goff was good though. I did like that.
Yeah, Jared Goff, obviously a close one there, but we're going to give it to Geno Smith, going all the way to QB6 from being the backup, looking decent last year, never having a top 20. Actually, he was a top 20 quarterback in 2013, but outside of that,
Then he got punched in the jaw.
nowhere near a relevant fantasy quarterback. Question from Vince, is this last pod of the season? No, we will be doing another one next week, but we are pretty much tapering out at this point.
Who punched Gino?
Some bull. It's probably irrelevant
forget.
at this point.
But yeah, congrats, Gino. Most improved player. Let's continue into the second year breakout. So obviously, a ton of guys here. Starting off with the gods again. What do we got?
What?
What do we got? Okay,
I was looking up who punched Gino.
Oh, I looked it up. It's Ik, and Nepkapali.
that was
I know
so
him,
wrong.
of course. Everybody knows him.
You got
Second year
two- yeah, go
Second
ahead.
year breakout. So I predicted it to be Rashad Bateman. He went from wide receiver 69 to wide receiver 107.
Nice.
He only played 5 games, but my honorable mention is someone I just talked about, so I'm not going to go into his stats and all, but Justin Fields. He went from quarterback 31 to quarterback 5.
Elite.
God, like it's
He might be in
like
contention for the winner too.
mixed emotions though, because like he's really not an elite quarterback, but he's like
Elite. I don't care.
He's a running back.
Scooping next year. Scooping. All right, Matt. What do we got?
All right. My guess was Travis Etienne. I would say this was a decent second-year breakout for him. He obviously dealt with minor injuries throughout the season, and then he slowed down a bit towards the end of the season, but overall finished RB18. Very solid season for him. But I'm going with my boy who should have won the last award, Ramondre Stevenson. He was a backup to Damian Harris last year. He was a rookie, came in this year. Damian Harris went down. He took full advantage, ran away with that starting job, and he has not looked back. And there was a point where he was getting like 10 catches a game for like a 4-game span, like at least 8 catches. So, I mean, you could put him in the category with like Christian McCaffrey and all them as like one of the best pass catching running backs in the league.
Yeah, definitely. Ramondre, rock solid. I'll go next here. My prediction was Rondale Moore. This man was wide receiver 67 last year. He jumped up all the way to wide receiver 80. Just kidding. He was only played 7 games, though. Unfortunate. He was pretty much unhealthy all season. And when he was healthy, he was all right, but not impressive.
Better.
I don't know what you said. Honorable
Greg
mention.
Dortch better. I'll
Greg
say it
Dortch.
louder, too, for the
Greg
people
Dortch
in the back.
Greg Dortch is solid. I like some Greg Dortch. My honorable mention, Josh Palmer, wide receiver 75 in his rookie year. Obviously didn't get much opportunity. Jumped up to wide receiver 39 this year. Top 40 wide receiver for a bit of time. He was a very solid flex option. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams both missed some time this season. Palmer was relied upon heavily, was Justin Herbert's top target for a few weeks there, and showed that he has some talent. Keenan Allen obviously getting a bit older. Josh Palmer may be the next in line to start taking over some of those snaps. We shall see, but he's my honorable mention. Q, what do we got for you?
So I predicted at the beginning of the season it would be Devontae Smith, who went from wide receiver 29 to wide receiver 9, and of course, I'm going to stick with him after the definition of a boomer bust season last year for him. I think he should now be in conversations with wide receivers like Jalen Waddle. I don't know who else to put in that like young core. T. Higgins, yeah, he's up there. And especially, he may have taken you to the chip, taken you throughout the playoffs because of the performance he did for the past 5 weeks with Gardner Minshew in 2 of those games. So Devontae Smith, second-year breakout. Him and A.J. Brown fighting for that top duo, wide receiver duo.
Yeah, for sure.
They're in the argument.
Mm-hmm. Definitely in the conversation. All right, let's do the overall winner. Obviously, some of our honorable mentions may be one of the winners here at this point because the only guys I had written down were Trevor Lawrence, who obviously had another solid season, a good second-year season. We thought he was probably a bust last year, looked good this year, finished QB7. Travis Etienne, who Matt predicted, did finish RB18. Smitty, obviously another good option here, wide receiver 29 all the way up to 9. Justin Fields, another one I had written down. So who do we think deserves second-year breakout among these players?
Davis Mills.
Come on, man.
He probably went backwards, too.
He definitely went backwards.
did.
Yeah, easily.
No, but
Smitty.
I'm going Smitty.
Let's go.
Smitty deserves it.
I would agree as well. Let's give the award to Devontae Smith. Obviously, a
turned the
huge
fuck up.
season. Some people weren't really believing in his talent heading into the season. Maybe someone in the chat here, not going to say any names, but Devontae Smith, top 10 season, well-deserved second-year breakout. Vince also had a question in the chat. We should do Dynasty rookie draft coverage. I think that would be interesting for sure. We will try to be a little bit more active in the offseason this year, so stay tuned for what we got coming. But let's continue the award show. Overhyped player. So this is just our predictions just to see if we were correct or incorrect.
Oh my God, T-Gods.
And then we'll give the overall winner. We won't have any honorable mentions for this one. T-Gods, start us off. This one might hurt a little bit.
I don't want to look into the camera. I can't look at you guys. I'm saying
I
this,
remember.
man.
Wait, I remember T God saying that Jalen Hurts cannot have 2 top 10 wide receivers because he runs the ball. I didn't want to say that.
I did say that. I did, bro.
Just like Tua.
Q.
But I could see where you came from.
Oh, can you?
Well, at the time, I could have.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. No, hold on here. I think I got something in my phone.
Oh,
no.
man.
He's pulling out the receipts.
Damn.
All right. I don't know where. I'll find the video at some point.
He's got a video.
I got a video. Q doing some unspeakable things.
Oh no! Q's
All right.
terrified right
Don't
now.
take it that far. So my overhyped player I predicted to be AJ Brown.
That's a hurts, don't it?
Yeah.
I always just expect the worst with the Eagles, man. They don't hurt me too many times, but
Yeah.
I look stupid.
AJ Brown had hurt you too, so
He
it
has.
made sense. You had drafted him a couple of years.
I did. I mean, if I could take it back, I would. I'm sorry for my actions. He was taken at wide receiver 11. He's wide receiver 5. Go next.
All right, Matt. What do we got? Let's keep it rolling.
All right, my overhyped player was Gabe Davis. I didn't understand all the hype around this man coming into this year, but he was. Is this the ADP? Wide receiver 26.
Yep.
Finished wide receiver 34, but his numbers, you would expect it to be so much less than wide receiver 34. He is the new Tyler Lockett. I mean, if he's not going crazy for like 5 catches, 100 plus yards, and like a touchdown or 2, he's getting you no more than 10. There's no gray area for him. He's either good or he's absolute dog water. So,
Yep. Good prediction, Matt. Q, go ahead. Rip my heart out.
First of all, Tyler Lockett might be too much of a compliment. He is MVS.
okay.
Yeah.
But my overhyped player, which is correct, Darnell Mooney, he stinks. Even when he was healthy, he stunk. Maybe he had one good game. Good for him.
He put a couple games together before he got
Look who's healthy at the end of the season. Julio Jones.
What?
Wide receiver.
He missed like 17 games.
Yeah, but who could play today? Julio Jones. And look who's playing. Julio Jones.
Actually, he's doing nothing. He's playing 20% of the snaps.
The
Don't
best
pipe up a
ability
piece of
is
poop.
ability.
There is no ability. It's poop.
Darnell Mooney could never sniff anything Julio Jones has done.
Yeah,
But yeah, he stinks. He probably will stink next year too. I'd take Chase Claypool over him.
Me too.
Thank God I have someone on my. I'd take who's Equanimous over him.
Equanimous, yeah.
Please go ahead. Do that, please.
Equanimous, don't sleep.
Good prediction, Q. It was a good prediction. Even when he was healthy, he was not good this year. You were right, and I was wrong. I will admit that. I am still a believer that he could be a decent flex next year, but not as high as I was. All right.
So the video that I was looking for, sorry, I can't find it, but it was Q stomping out a Jalen Hurts jersey.
That was when Carson Wentz was still on the team.
At work, too. It wasn't even his jersey. I should have reported you to Lids.
I have that video. I'll never show it.
Expose yourself.
I hate that video. That was so disrespectful.
You can even see how old it was because it was a 2 jersey.
I still have a 2
canceled.
jersey.
I could just say it was a Slay jersey.
Sorry, Q. Lil Kev confirmed.
You're done.
Yeah, eat it, bud.
Eat it, bud.
Well, I was worried that I don't even know what I could have think of what you described it as.
All right, let's keep rolling. We're going.
I thought it was going to be one of the Omegle videos.
Oh man,
I have those. Those are funny.
Yeah, those are funny. All right, I lost my spot. Where were
Bold
we?
Bold stats.
I know. Where
overall winner. Oh wait,
we're not
Sean
on
didn't
bold
even
stats.
go yet.
I know. I'm trying to find this.
Overhyped player.
I'm
I
spoiling.
found it. Overhyped player. Cam Akers was my prediction. He was being drafted as RB19. I thought it was way too high. Some people were ranking him inside their top 12 in certain rankings, and I was like, this is absolutely absurd. Cam Akers is not that good. Finished RB36. He left the team for 2 games. He was pretty bad until maybe the last couple of weeks. He's kind of revived himself, but for the most part, Cam Akers was not it. The majority of the season, Vince Stop it right now. Stop the K-Makers love.
Yeah, Sean McVay had him blackballed or black.
He was mid. He still is mid.
Blackball.
I think it's black.
So let's debate
I
the
think it is
overall winner
blackballed.
for the overhyped player. I got some names here. If you guys have any other names, feel free to drop them. But Justin Herbert was being drafted as top 3 quarterback, finished QB 12. Swift was being drafted as like a top 6 running back.
Oh my God, Swift.
Cam
Swift,
Akers,
Jim.
Deontay Johnson was being drafted as maybe a top 15 wide receiver in some leagues. It's been brutal.
Swift. It's Swift.
Kyle
Or is it
Pitts.
Swift.
Sutton?
I think it's Kyle
No.
Pitts, personally.
No.
That man was being
You
anointed
still
the next
have-
coming of God and was
you
so
still
bad.
have biased
Jates-
love for Swift,
Look
bro.
at
Dude, it
He's
could be
so
Swift. I put him in
overrated.
the debate for a reason.
Could be JT.
Swift did get injured though too, and so did
JT,
Pitts.
look at what's been said. Don't mention the name around here. Could be JT.
Could be Jonathan Taylor. He was a bit
number
overhyped.
1 overall.
Yeah.
And he was shit.
I mean, he did finish number 1 overall, so
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I mean, he was injured for a few games too. All these guys are kind of banged up though. All right, let's decide.
Swift.
Bro, I'm going Swift. He's trash.
It's Swift. It's DeAndre Swift, the overhyped player of the season.
And Darnell Mooney.
Overhyped the
And Kyler
most
Murray.
by this man right
Yeah.
here.
Sean Gill.
And
Yeah, put my name in writing, please. Overhyped
we should
DeAndre
just give
Swift
you-
to death.
I'd be fine with just giving you your team next year of like Kyler, Mixon,
I don't want that
Swift.
team anymore.
I'll
DJ
just give you
Moore.
your whole team that you want, bro. You can just have it.
I don't know if I want them
Mooney,
anymore.
wide receiver one.
I've moved on
We'll
from
take
a lot of
Ertz.
these guys.
Juju,
It's just my whole dynasty team. It's
Jarv. You're gonna get
it's
Jarv.
ruined.
You have to start him at flex every week.
I'm not starting Jarv, but I'll
And,
still throw him on my
McManus.
bench for fun.
Yeah, McMahon.
Hey, McManus could bounce back if the Broncos bounce back.
yeah, probably not.
You're probably
Go
right.
back to Temple.
All right, let's just go back to our bold stat takes before we
Okay,
do
we'll
our
go back there then.
injuries ruined his season award. T-Gods, start us off. What was your bold stat take?
I said that Josh Allen would throw for 5,000 yards, rush for 1,000 yards, and have 50 total touchdowns. The actual numbers are 4,062 passing yards, 760 rushing yards, and 39 total touchdowns. But 2 games should have been added to that. I guess 1 more will be added to that, it seems. But 1,000 passing yards off and 11 touchdowns off.
Yeah, not
Not
bad.
bad.
Very solid season. Still top 2 quarterback. Gotta love Josh Allen. Matt,
Yep.
you might have had the best prediction of us all.
What else is new?
It wasn't
baby?
even bold, man.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. You guys
Not-
were calling me
not
crazy
that
for
bold.
saying this.
No one was going
Man.
crazy. Come on now.
All right. Well,
But saying like,
Travis
No.
Kelce, 1,500 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. With 1 game left, he could easily get 200 yards. He has 1,300
No way.
right now. He's going for 200 this
Bro,
year.
He's not going to play the whole
going to
game.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Just you wait and see. He's going to get 200 yards, hit that 15, and I'm going to be a goddamn genius. And he'll get 15 touchdowns because he'll have 3 with 200 yards.
that'd be wild. All right, Q, go ahead.
Wait, you're saying he's going to get 15 in 1 game or 15?
No, dude.
Okay. My bold stat was that Jay Herbo would throw for 6,000 yards. And to blame Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
Alien.
I wish he was an alien. He wouldn't have gotten hurt. He only threw for 4,466. Maybe he'll throw for 1,600 yards on Sunday or Saturday. I don't know when he plays against the. Doesn't matter. Yeah, he's not very close.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Not
Keenan.
close at all.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Keen. All he had was
Get
Gerald Everett.
Q,
Everett.
And
I remember
Josh
Q
Palmer.
saying it should be 7,000 yards, but I'm going to go 6,000. Mine was pretty bad. Joe Mixon, he had a good season. 22 plus touchdowns from scrimmage was my prediction. He had 8.
Could
5
have
of them
of
in
them in
one
one
game.
He stinks.
So
He
he did not score that
sucks.
much. He was obviously banged up for a few games as well, but not it for Joe Mixon. Not the best bold stat take. That's why it's bold. Matt, I guess you get the award for having the closest bold stat take, but also the award for having the least bold take. So
Whatever. At least I won
Mickey
something.
Mouse
Just a
award.
take.
the Mickey Mouse. Yeah, it's
It's
just
just
a take.
a take.
All right. Injuries ruined his season award. Let's do it. T-Gods, roll through this one.
All right, not super fantasy relevant, but definitely a football personality that I think everybody likes, right? Nobody hates
I
this man.
love-
Jameis Winston. Anybody? Any Jameis Winston fans here?
I like James
love
Winston.
eating
Like, great guy.
W's.
All right, yeah. We be eating W's. He started out the season in the most Jameis Winston way. 858 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 picks through 3 games. That's just about everything you'd expect from him. But like he'll make you laugh along the way, so you can't be that mad at him. I don't know. I just wish I could see him play. That's all.
Yeah,
He has some
fun to
crazy
watch.
games, crazy yards, and crazy amounts of picks. But
I think I avoided watching Saints games once Andy Dalton took over. So
yeah, nobody wants to watch
I'd
The
rather
Red
watch
Rocket.
Jameis. That man's
Red
entertaining.
Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Who's the Red
Um,
Rocket?
That's
Forgot
the, you know what that is.
Tried to put this one up. Little Kev
I
got to
do
go into
remember
our
that.
bold stat takes. He said Hondon would finish over Terry. That's pretty spicy.
Close.
Vince trying to expose you, Matt. I don't know why he's doing that to you. He just
Because I
needs-
can't figure it out.
He just needs some help. All right,
I
I'm
tried
going
to do
next.
it again this
That's
past
the one you
weekend.
told
This
me to
shit doesn't
order,
work.
man.
I
You
thought
sent
it
that link, and I ordered that one.
You did
I,
see,
bro, and I was searching them too because I was like, "What one looks like it would fit my mic?" It's gonna fit. I just got to figure out how to like
charge him
tighten
for a
everything.
setup fee.
We'll figure it out. All right, my honorable mention has to be Zach Ertz. This man was a top 4 tight end through week 10, and then he got hurt, ruined his season, broke my heart. He was one of the most consistent players on my team in multiple leagues. I targeted him in pretty much most of my leagues, and Zach Ertz was rock solid until he was injured, and then he was not. Tough break for Zach Ertz. Q, who is your honorable mention?
It is Lamar Jackson, who he had his first 3 insane weeks and then cooled off a bit. He was still quarterback 6 or quarterback 5 going up until week 12, which is when he got hurt. He probably could have stayed there if not gotten better, even though his team is complete poop. But he could have gotten J.K. Dobbins back, and I don't know. But I don't know what to think of Lamar Jackson. He might not even be a Raven next year, which I hope not. I hope he plays for a team that has a receiver. But definitely injuries derailed him. He may play this week, though, I think. Probably not, though, because they're already in the playoffs.
Definitely a chance. Matt, what do we got?
Injuries definitely ruined his season and my fantasy season as well. God damn it. Cooper Kupp, why'd it have to be you, my man? Before he got hurt, this dude was averaging like 23 fantasy points a game. He was 20, no less, every single week. Even with the poor play of Matthew Stafford, he was just getting fed targets, getting at least like 10 a game. Next year, I hope he comes back healthy because he will definitely be my first round pick again if he falls to me at the right place. But like I said earlier, if he didn't get hurt, he had a serious chance of finishing my receiver 1.
Definitely did. All right, let's do the debate. Who should be the overall winner? We got some people in the chat saying names I had listed here. Matt Stafford obviously has a chance after being QB5. Also, he was kind of bad, though. Cooper Kupp, as Matt mentioned, definitely could still win the award. Javonte Williams was playing all right, and Breece Hall as well. Curly also mentioned Jahan
Gotta give it to
Dotson,
Brees.
but
Gotta
I think,
give it to Brees.
yeah, I think it's got to be Breece as well.
He was
My
going to be
gosh,
like
he's
a
going
top 3
stupid.
running back if
All right,
he
all right,
stayed healthy.
all right.
Brees was going dumb.
Yeah,
don't wanna get
Breece finally started picking it up. He started off kind of slow, and then immediately was going off, and then his season was derailed from the injury. I think I would go Breece.
Yeah, gotta go Brees. If not Kupp, it has to be Brees.
Yeah. Breece Hall, injuries ruined his season. A tough break. All right, another fun one. Player we talked about the most on Super Fantasy Bros. Honestly, all these guys are just honorable
Yeah.
mentions could be considered here. So let's just all go through this. You got to start us off.
My honorable mention, Najee Harris, because the whole beginning of the season, the whole half of the first half of the season, it was just like he's not doing good. He's not doing good. Are you still going to start him? Are you still going to start him? Then he popped off, and we all said he was back. And Matt said he's not back. He's not back. And he wasn't really back. He was just like average, I guess.
Yeah.
But every week it was just like you starting him, you sitting him. Would you rather start Pollard? Like it was like a bunch of like what ifs. But Najee was always there. So, shout out Najee, I guess.
Najee.
Najee.
Matt, honorable mention.
I'm going to go with one of the staples that we love to do here on the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. We talked about Zeke and Pollard a lot, just like we do with wide receiver duos, a lot of running back duos. I mean, it's both running backs are doing well. You got to debate which one you want to start that week, whoever we think has the hot hand or whatever the case may be. We talked about these Cowboys running backs a ton. I feel like it was every week. Did you rank Zeke over Pollard, Pollard over Zeke? And it was just up and down all year. They were kind of neck and neck. Pollard kind of ran away with it towards the end, but talked about him every week nonetheless.
Sorry,
God
Matt.
bless you, T-Gods.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Your well-being is a lot
you.
more important in my opinion.
Good.
All right.
Agreed. Those were ones we talked about a lot. I'll go next. Honorable mention. Got to be Kyle Pitts. This man through week 11, we talked about every 5 seconds. I think we even threw him in there like week 13 and 14, just randomly talking about tight ends. Like Kyle Pitts was a hot topic every single week. It was like, what do you do with this dude? And then he'd show up for a week and have like 10 points. You'd be like, oh my God, is he back? And then he'd drop another 3 bomb right on your head. Kyle Pitts mid. And I think we might have talked about him the most. Q, what do we got?
What the freak is it? Oh, DJ Moore. I hate to say that name because I had to deal with him, and that's about it. I don't want to talk about him.
All right.
We already talked about him enough, apparently.
Yeah, we talked about him enough.
Who did we talk about the most? DJ
Brady
Moore.
was a lot too.
Who? Brady?
We talk about Brady a lot.
Yeah,
James
I was going to say
Strauss.
Brady, Mike Evans. Brady, Mike Evans, obviously.
Kirk Cousins, we talked about.
Cousins.
I
we
know,
talk
but
about
this
pretty
I
much
feel like
every week.
the last few years, this award has gone to somebody who like Juju or like I feel like it's not a good award, so I don't want to give it to
someone
Kirk.
who I pipe.
Yeah, Juju and like Joe Mixon.
Or someone that Sean hates that we pipe.
It's either someone I hate,
conflicting.
I pipe, or Q pipes, and then me and Q bang heads
Yeah.
on who's better or not. I don't know who should we give this to. We talked about a ton of players.
We did.
Vince thinks it should be one of the Bucs wide receivers.
We don't really talk about Mike Evans like that.
We talked about Mike Evans a lot because, maybe not a lot. We talked about him and Godwin early on, just saying like, who do you have higher? And then as we got into the season, it was like, all right, what do you do with Mike Evans? What do you do with Mike Evans? What do you do with Mike Evans? Are you still starting him? But I personally think it was probably DJ Moore. I feel like we talked about this guy on Calmer Chaos, Trust or Bust every time he blew up or fell off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he stinks.
Unfortunate award, but I would give it to DJ. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
I
give
think
DJ as well.
All right.
Fuck
T-Gods, we're taking your phone call as yes, you're agreeing with DJ Moore. So, DJ Moore it is. Player we talked about the most on Super Fantasy Bros. DJ Moore. Let's do Fantasy Rookie of the Year.
Wait, who do we give it to?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
James Droz.
Bad reward or award goes to
Yeah, bad award. It hurts my soul. I can't believe he's still going to finish as like a top 25 wide receiver. Disgusting. Rookie of the Year. T-Gods, who was your prediction? Who's your honorable mention? What do we got?
My prediction was Drake London. I still love that man. I don't care. He had like a solid season. Wide receiver 38 as a rookie with like poopers as his quarterbacks. Like, I don't know. Drake London. That was my man's before the year. Still my man's. But honorable mention is Chris Olave. Super solid season. He had 67 receptions for 982 yards. So, he'll most likely get 1,000 yards this year. But he only had 3 touchdowns. It's not all his fault. The whole offense was kind of bad. But Chris Olave, yeah, I don't know. He's going to be pretty good.
Definitely going to be pretty good. Agree with that one there. Very solid honorable mention. Next up, Matt, what do we got?
My guess was Dameon Pierce, the running back for the Houston Texans. Finished RB26. Missed the last 3 games. Kind of slowed down because that Texans offense was god-awful all year. But he is my honorable mention as well because he was the one bright spot on that offense. Brandon Cooks did nothing. Nico Collins, like here and there. Davis Mills, he sucks. He's only good for a long neck and a good leg.
Thing's long, man.
He's only good for a long time.
Hey, yo.
All right, time out. But Dameon Pierce, he was the one good player on that Texans offense all year. He was good. I don't know how that Texans offensive line, every piece they have is god-awful, but he made it work somehow.
He did make it work. He was pretty solid all season. Q, what do we got?
If we ever get a stream deck, we need to get that Sean's Ayo on one of the buttons.
Hey,
Hey.
yo.
But you guys stole the receivers. Before I had that, the whole wide receiver class should be mentioned, just because if they all had good quarterbacks, they'd probably be elite. But literally all of them have quarterback issues. So I put Breece Hall. I don't care if he's only played 7 games. He was on a 4-game touchdown streak. 4 games in a row he had a touchdown, and from weeks 2 to 7 he was running back 6 or 7. So he was bound to be elite. He probably would be the guy to win this award if he played the whole season. So yeah, only because the beginning of the season I said Treylon Burks and he was hurt and then came back and he was all right. His quarterback is now Josh Dobbs, Greg Dobbs.
Yeah.
No hope.
Tough
Chig honorable mention.
Ooh, Chico Conquo, my boy. Yeah. My prediction was Ken Walker. He did finish RB19, back up for the first 5 weeks, missed a game and a half. Talk about him in a minute. But honorable mention, got to be Garrett Wilson, 74 catches, over 1,000 yards. Very solid season for Garrett Wilson, despite the carousel at quarterback between Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White, whoever they wanted to throw out there. A little bit up and down here and there, but had some big games and probably got you to the fantasy playoffs. Maybe struggled a little bit in the fantasy chip, but in general, solid season for Garrett Wilson. But the overall winner has to be Ken Walker. My prediction early in the season felt like a safe one. First 5 weeks, Rashad Penny obviously going down made this possible. Without that happening, still could have been a 50-50 split. But in general, Ken Walker looked very good. Ended up finishing with 189 fantasy points, RB19 on the season. Once he took over in week 5, he never had less than 11, aside from one game in which that game he got injured. So he was very consistent, had huge games in week 7, week 9, was pretty much the entire Seahawks offense for a bit, aside from obviously Lockett, Geno. They were all pretty decent. But Ken Walker helped lift up this offense. Rock solid fantasy rookie of the year. So
Woo-hoo!
Let's get negative. Fantasy least valuable player. T-Gods, start us off. Who is your prediction? Who is your honorable mention?
My prediction was Devontae Parker. He finished as wide receiver 91, so pretty irrelevant. I think he had one pretty good game, but besides that, he's pretty much forgotten.
Yeah.
He did miss a few games, but I don't think that really matters here. My honorable mention, Q, I'm so sorry because it should have worked out for you. I liked it before the year.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world. So I have 2. I have Russell Wilson and Courtland Sutton. They both really let a lot of people down. Russ was the quarterback 17, averaging 15 fantasy points a game. And Sutton, who I had as my MVP, I thought he was going to come in and snap. He had 61 receptions for 796 yards. And where I thought he was going to thrive, he failed the hardest. 1 touchdown this year.
God.
1. I don't know. He finished wide receiver 45. So through his 5 years in the NFL, he cracked the top 40 one time.
Yep.
Why did I love this man? Why did I think he was going to be good?
Year. That 1 year
he was good
juicy.
1 year.
Why did we hate Jerry Jeudy?
I don't know. I have no reason to hate Jerry Jeudy.
Me either.
But I loved
Sutton was all right for the first 5 weeks.
Wait till Tim Patrick comes back.
Tim Patrick, Timmy P,
KJ
and Greg Duluth.
We thought Russell Wilson was going to lift him up, and obviously it did not happen.
He just dragged him down.
So bad.
Matt, you're up, buddy.
All right. My least valuable player was Darren Waller. Finished as the tight end 30, only played 7 games. That was part of the reason why I was avoiding him this year. Before the season started, Sean got me on the Darren Waller hate train, and that is why he is my honorable mention. Just a mixture of the injury history, Devontae Adams being on the team. We didn't think he was going to see the same amount of targets. One of the 2 came true. He ended up getting hurt, unfortunately, but throughout his career, he's always dealt with that issue. So I'm going to stick with Darren Waller. He was taken 3rd, 4th round in most drafts. Expected to be one of the top 5 tight ends didn't work out like that at all.
I was roasted for ranking that man at like tight end 9.
Derek Carr also
Dragged.
sucks. Just
I
the
hopped
reason-
on,
just
Sean.
throwing
I
him in there.
hopped on.
Appreciate you. All right, Q, you're up.
My least valuable player was just to be angry at Sean was Jarv, because I put in quotes because you want to attack Julio. Very irrelevant. Finished wide receiver 102 and played 9 games. Wow, I bet Jalen Reagor was better than that.
No shot.
But
He might have been.
He was
my
bad.
honorable mention is Jonathan Taylor, simply because you're the first overall pick. Though he dealt with injury and showed some signs of life towards the end of the season, it wasn't enough. Finished running back 30 or 33. Even with those games out and you're first overall, you're expected to do a lot better than that. So
Rager was wide receiver 142 and
Damn
didn't
it.
miss it. So
we got to check
bad.
CBS where he gets punt return yards.
All right. My prediction was Julio Jones, finished wide receiver 94 in 10 games. If you did draft Julio Jones, I'm sorry. I kind of tried to tell you so. It wasn't great. He was being drafted as like a top 45-ish wide receiver once draft day came around. So obviously not great. But my honorable mention has to go to Kyle Pitts. This man was piped to smithereens, and he was tight end 18 when he was healthy, finished tight end 31 in general. Kyle Pitts was beyond mid. Marcus Mariota could not get anybody the ball consistently. Hopefully this man gets a quarterback. Maybe he will show us what he can do, but he's my honorable mention. So let's debate who was the least valuable player this season. Some other guys I mentioned: Allen Robinson,
JT. Sorry,
Mooney,
I was so excited.
Jonathan Taylor, Kyle Pitts, Cam Akers, Robert Woods, Michael Thomas, Cortland Sutton. Who was the least valuable player?
JT. You took him
It's
at
gotta
literally
be
the
JT.
most valuable spot you could.
Yeah. Gotta
And
be
he
JT.
finished like what, 30?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was still decent though when he did play,
But he didn't play a lot.
that's more. I would lean JT more towards like injuries ruined his season. I guess. I don't know. That's just
all
personal.
right. I see where you're coming
Well,
from.
then
and
I
get
would
it.
say Russ.
I would go Russ too.
Russ was god awful.
Yeah,
Like the worst ever.
the worst.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was
bad.
so bad. He was like,
He had a couple good like 30-point games, and you're like, oh my god, is he back? And after each of those, he dropped 9, and then was out, and then dropped 10.
Q, how long did
Bad.
it take for you to like? Move
Well,
on.
see, I started 5-0, and none of those wins felt like wins because I had to stress Russell Wilson to get me like 10 points. So somehow I pulled out wins, but like once I picked up Geno, it was over.
Yeah, Russell Wilson may be the least valuable player this season.
Vince is so mad right now
right. Because it's not MT.
He's trying to say it's Michael Thomas, but he was valuable when he was on the field. I wouldn't say he was like least valuable.
Yeah, he's like the same reason we're not
played
going to
3
JT.
games. Yeah, he's more injuries ruined the season, I guess. But I mean, you kind of knew that was coming with Michael Thomas more than
Right.
JT.
Nobody expected this from Russ.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Russ.
Russ.
Russell Wilson was. Some people were pushing him into close to their top 5 quarterbacks in rankings I've seen. So Russell Wilson, the least valuable fantasy player this season. All right, let's get positive. Fantasy MVP. T-Gods.
Well, some of us.
Some of us, I guess. Yeah. I mean, predictions, maybe not positive, but let's get positive in general. Let's pick who deserves it. T-God starts off.
So I wasn't lying. My MVP pick was indeed Cortland Sutton. We just went through that. He's dog water. I'll never draft him again on any team. But my MVP, because he looked out for me, he looked out for everybody. It's got to be Austin Eckler. He's ridiculous. Only 3 players scored more fantasy points than him this year. They were all quarterbacks. It was Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and then it was my boy Austin Eckler. He's like, he gets a little dinked up, but he stays healthy. Like he's so reliable. He can score long touchdowns. He can score on the goal line. He can score as a wide receiver. Like he could do everything. I don't know if he can throw, but besides throwing, he could do it all.
And he cares about your fantasy team.
He does.
He does indeed. He does indeed. I don't know. He's just insane. And he had over 100 receptions, bro. That's like I want to know how many running backs like scored or not scored, got over 100 receptions. That's like of all time.
I think they showed that there's only like 3. One of them are LT, and I don't know who the other one is, but
CMC.
it's
Did
I think
Danny
it's him.
Woodhead ever do it?
Probably
God.
not.
No,
Oh,
I
maybe
just
in
remember-
Chargers history could be possible, but
I don't know, but I mean, Austin Eckler is he's just better than your running back. So
and some of your wide receivers.
Yeah,
literally, and some of your wide receivers, it's insane. Over 100 receptions, bro. 103.
Nuts.
he's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Matt, who's your prediction? Who's your honorable mention?
My prediction was my boy going into this year, Chris Godwin. Finished wide receiver 18, missed 2.5 games. But when he was on the field, he was a target monster. He was producing. He was good to get you like 10 to 12 a game at least. But my honorable mention has to go to Christian McCaffrey. First off, kudos to him to playing every game of this season. He deserves it. It's nice to see him back and healthy on the field. And he did this on 2 teams throughout the year, which is unreal. He was back to his old ways, just being one of the best receiving backs, maybe only behind Austin Eckler. And him on the Niners offense next year is juicy as hell. Their offense is so good. I see them trying to keep that unit together. And I think it's just going to be the Christian McCaffrey show, honestly.
I love it. Q, who was your prediction? Who's your honorable mention for MVP?
Luckily, the last time we are going to speak of this guy. My MVP at the beginning of the season was going to be Kyle Pitts. That's all I got to say. But my honorable mention is going to be Devontae Adams. Of course, finished wide receiver 3 on the season. 5 games with 2 touchdowns, and he did all this with Derek Carr, who stinks, and Jared Stidham. Either way, who is better than Derek Carr.
Apparently.
He's elite, better than Derek Carr. It's not that hard to be better than him. But he did it in the chip for you. You needed a good performance, and he was ranked very low ever since once they benched Derek Carr. But he's elite. I don't know where he'll be this year. After this year, hopefully still in Vegas because Matt got me his jersey. But regardless, he's up there with Justin Jefferson. You can argue for best receiver in the league. I don't think that's really hard to
definitely
whatever look an eye or poke an eye.
Bat an eye.
There was a time period in my life, like beginning of the season, where someone said that every day. It may have been Sean most days, but maybe like Schultz said it one day or something. But bat and eye was used a week straight. Before that time, no one said that saying.
I didn't even bat an eye when that was happening.
Restart the streak.
All right. My prediction beginning of the season was Najee Harris. I really thought he had the potential to be the number 1 running back this season. So that's why I predicted him. He did finish at RB14. He was pretty mid most of the season. If you had drafted Najee, you weren't happy, but you weren't that disappointed. He still got you 10 most weeks. It might not have been pretty, but most of the time Najee got the job done. Couldn't complain too much. My honorable mention for MVP has to be Jalen Hurts. This man was QB1 heading through 15 weeks in, I think, 4-point passing touchdown leagues. But in general, Jalen Hurts was having a crazy season across the board. He averaged the most fantasy points among quarterbacks. And obviously missing the last 2 games hurts his case a little bit. So I wanted to at least put him in here as an honorable mention.
Imagine trading him for Kyler Murray.
God.
Yeah, don't forget the most running back touchdowns, Jamal Williams.
Doesn't matter. Jalen Hurts is the best. That doesn't matter.
Who was I starting? Okay, you're right.
Anyone. Jalen Hurts would just cover up those points.
I was scared of starting Singletary. That man is a bug. All right, Pat, it was like week 3. Leave me alone. Let's debate overall winner. Who do we give it to? Patrick Mahomes, Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce.
No Kelce.
I'm
sick of the Kelce talk.
It has to be Kelce. He was so
I might give it to Eckler.
Yeah, I'll give it to Eckler and be
Kelce
happy.
was so far ahead of any other tight end.
Bro, but
and he probably could have finished like wide receiver 5 on the season if he was a receiver.
Bro, it's like Brady winning another Super Bowl, bro. It's just like, all right, like, cool. Good job, Trav. You did it again.
Go Eckler then.
Go Eck.
Should we go Eckler? What are we thinking?
I think Eckler was the most consistent out of anybody else on the list, aside from Kelce.
Yeah,
We
Eckler
can
was
give it
so
to Eckler.
consistent. He never had a bad game. He had 11 points in literally every single game. He had multiple games of 20 points, multiple games of 30 points. I think he had 5 30-point games.
And he snapped all the
Or 4.
playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Kelsey did too. But
Yeah,
whatever. I don't hate Kelsey. I just whatever. If you guys
it's
want
just
to
the
give it to
position.
Kelsey,
It's the positional advantage for Kelsey. Kelsey's just way better than every other tight end, so it's an automatic dub every single week at tight end.
He's a menace.
Eckler.
he is a menace. I'm not denying that. Easily the best, but like
We can go Eck.
I'm going to go Eckler. Let's go Eckler.
Eck
Let's go
deserves
Eckler.
it.
Austin Eckler, congratulations. Fantasy MVP. You probably won a lot of people their fantasy championship. Big fan of fantasy football himself. Gotta love Austin Eckler. Big shout out there. That's it for all the awards. Q, I think we have a couple trivia questions before we get out of here.
Do we have time?
I mean, if you want to.
have
Yeah,
time.
Sure.
I mean, at this
Also,
point, we're already
Vince,
way
We
over
make
an
the
hour.
rules.
Yeah, you're right. Vince,
Yeah,
if you're here,
this
I
is
did
our
try.
show.
Lil Kev's
did
here
Vince-
as well. He
Vince,
said,
I tried
"Eat it,
arguing
bud. Go Ecky."
with Sean that Samaje Perine better than Mixit when we talked about Mixit.
Oh my God.
Didn't really go well.
Enough.
All right. First question, if you guys are ready.
I was born ready.
So,
I
who
say that every episode.
who are the only 3 players who've been named the Defensive Player of the Year 3 times? Your hint is 2 of them have done it in the past 10 years. The other one, I would say, is in the 90s, but he's like, you know who this guy is. And the other hint is 2 of them play the same position. They're big guys. One of them a little farther back, but still a big guy.
Can you repeat the first half of the question?
Who are the only 3 players who've been named DPOY 3 times? So they
Okay.
won the award 3 times. 2 of them have done it in the
think I
last 10
got it.
years.
Maybe it's not him.
And there's the two who have done it in the past 10 years are currently playing still. The other guy who did it in the 90s is not playing, obviously, but he's a big name.
He's 90s for sure.
90s for sure. If you watch sports TV, he's been mentioned maybe more so earlier in the season, but
But did he play into the 2000s?
no, he did not.
Damn it. I'm torn between 2 guys for the old guy.
Me too, but I'm sticking with my first one.
I can't think of the active one though. That's
Vince,
not...
the question is
duh.
Vince, the question is who are the only 3 players who've been named DPOY 3 times? So they've won the award 3 times. Yeah. Whose alarm is going off?
I don't
It's
know,
Maria's.
but Lil
in the
Kev got the
kitchen.
right idea. Yeah.
Are you cheating?
No, I fucking locked in my answers like 10 seconds after the question.
I have my 3.
All right. Yeah, you got
Oh yeah, the guys last year was 1993,
Okay.
maybe 94. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
That changes things.
Fuck it. I'm sticking with
I've crossed out and written the same 2 guys. I swear to God, if I get this wrong, I'm gonna be so mad because I know it's got to be one of them. All right, I'm locking these 3 and it's done.
I locked in the
You all have answers?
recent 2,
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure they're right.
So the 2 recent are Donald and Wacht,
Uh-huh.
Got 'em.
obviously,
That was easy.
and the older guy is LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Got him. I
feel like
had
that was
Reggie
pretty easy.
White, and then I
Yeah.
had Lawrence Taylor, and then I had Reggie White, and then you said finished 93, and I said, all right, it has to be Lawrence Taylor.
I think
can't
Reggie
see.
White played in 2000s for
He did for like,
the Panthers, I think.
he played for like at least until the late 90s. So that's why I was like, yeah, it's got to be.
All right, I still have one more question.
Okay.
Little Kev thought that was easy, so
Kevin.
let's see if this one's a little harder, bud.
But
Who are the only 4 quarterbacks who've thrown 100 touchdown passes with 2 different teams? You won't. The one is Frank Tarkenton, so I didn't think you guys would get that. So there's 3 quarterbacks. Only one's currently playing. So the question is, who are the only 4 quarterbacks, 3, who've thrown 100 touchdown passes with 2 different teams? One still playing. You know the other 2 names, but you weren't going to get Fran Tarkenton. I don't know when the hell he played. Yeah, I definitely know who he is. I would never have guessed him.
I probably wouldn't have guessed him though. Off the top, hell no. Unless you told me.
Even if I
guy in
gave you the
80s,
year.
I probably would have said like some random bull.
Terry Bradshaw.
Not Fran Tarkenton. So there's one active player.
The active one's fucking.
They've all played in the 2010s.
Okay. How many?
Shit.
So it's just 3, right?
3, yeah.
Who's the third bull?
It was nice on 2 teams.
Nah, he wasn't good.
But
enough,
the
Phil.
bull has played as long as Brady and fuck. Well, I gave the one away. You guys probably only knew that.
We already
I
had
had
Brady.
him anyway. I had him.
Yeah. He played as long as Brady and the other guy.
The third bull.
Yeah.
As long as Brady and the other. No one played as long as Brady.
Oh well, no. He got drafted, I guess, around the same time as him. So he's an old bull.
I'm guessing on the third bull. I know 2.
Third bull's definitely not
Third
right.
bull's fucking me up, bro.
I can tell you when he retired.
Yeah,
No.
Sure.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's 2 yeses in one, though.
Yeah. Dickhead. When did he retire?
He retired in 2010.
This bull's old.
But like he was relevant when he played, and yeah.
Okay.
I might be right then. I don't know when he
I'm
retired.
guessing.
I might be right.
I'm guessing.
Hold on. I got to think about this. That's old.
Yeah, then Brady's the active player.
Who played for multiple teams,
Look at chat.
bro?
Look at chat.
I'm not looking at chat.
Cheating, you're cheating,
I
you're
switched.
cheating.
I switched. I'm on the banners. Look, I'll run one right now.
All right.
Henny. Why don't we have that going on podcast?
I don't know.
All right. I said the same exact thing as Lowell said.
I need the third
What
ball. I
Lil
need to
said.
think of the third ball. How much time do I have? A minute?
Sure.
I guessed any bowl for my third bowl.
I promise you, he's not in any bowl. I wish I could give one more hint.
Well,
but
not
that
like any bowl, but a bowl.
it would give it away to this specific group.
Phileas Bull played for he didn't play long enough for those teams that I'm thinking of. So the second bowl, this bowl threw for 100 touchdowns for 2 teams, like 100 for one team and 100 for another team.
Yes.
Okay. It's a lot of fucking touchdowns. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna write any bull like Matt. Whatever, dude. I don't care. This bull did not retire in 2010, but I'm writing him anyways because I just don't know.
No way, Vito.
All right, say it.
If it's
No
him,
shot.
I'm dying.
You guys all have answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Brady, Manning, and Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
I was gonna say he hurt our feelings because of the Eagles, but
EJ Warner's pops. The truth.
I guess Carson Palmer.
I put
Okay,
Donovan
close.
McNabb.
kind of because
That
I
was
was same
pissed.
team. I would have never
obviously
thought
not
he threw
McNabb.
100 touchdowns with the Cardinals. But
I was thinking Favre, but I was like, he didn't play long enough for
The Jets.
the Vikings or the Jets. He played like 1 or 2 years for each of them. All right. I think that's a wrap. Thanks for a great season, everybody. Great fantasy football season. I hope you all won your chip. I hope we helped you in some way, shape, or form. That's it for the Fantasy Award Show. This does not mark the end of the season. We have a couple episodes in the works, including we're going to do some sort of recap of our NFL season predictions. So we did do some predictions last year. We're going to do something with the NFL playoffs coming up. So stay tuned for that. We'll figure it out. Again, if you're interested in using Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use our code SUPERFB. Help support us. If you're still here on Twitch or YouTube, throw us a sub or throw us a follow. Turn on notifications. Make sure you don't miss us when we're live. Also, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your audio version, we're there. And we're also part of the Olde City Sports Network. Check that out. Link in our bio. We have a ton of good podcasts, ton of good sponsorships there, ton of good discounts. So check them out. You'll find us anywhere. Search Super Fantasy Bros. See you guys next Wednesday, most likely. Peace.
Bye.